Top morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Him Zuko was the I'm was the evil lord of the monsters. So, and the the one that recommended this to me, he deserves a shout out. So, for this, what if? But I may change some parts, like the name of what if Deku was a evil immortal and thing and other thing. I just call him what if Deku was a evil lord of the monsters instead of writing all that things down. So hope you guys don't mind me doing that too. So yeah, the story goes like this. The Zuko was born Ern with a special power, and he also has a sister named Zumi. She goes down the canon version, like the because she's just those people that are goes down the canon route, but but Zuko usually goes the opposite way. So yeah, so in this alternate timeline, there's these things called monsters. Monsters. Here, the big, like, bigger than a kaiju, bigger than the colossal titan, bigger than Aaron's founding titan. Not attack titan, but the founding titan. Yeah. Those ones are big. Yeah. So, I'm talking they devour cities. But they needed a king or a lord of them. Because they scavenged the half of the planet. But in order for humans to survive, they needed a backup plan. Like just to launch nukes at them. Yeah. They tried their hardest. But then, of course, they all want, or the monsters in this alternate timeline, all the monsters needed was a lord of the monsters. Yeah. It's basically they need a king and a queen. So, yeah. And when I say, like, some parts I may have to change because of I know that I'll add a little bit of shipment in it, just one. Then, because when I said king and queen, it needs, like, something. So, they put, or so, one of these small little guys got captured. And, yeah. And this is what the monsters would look like. in My Hero Academia universe. Yeah. So, a queen was born. She's in her. She's a same age as Zuko. So Zuko was born, and Zumi was born, and the and at age of 2, or at age of 3, he meets her, and she kind of likes him so much he would, yeah. And this is just a build up, so don't worry. So the so then the but Zuko was born with a power of a monster, aka he can transform into a monster king, and he has also powers of infinity and zero. So that makes him way more deadly than a normal human. But he also has a quirk of similar to um, almost to the same powers as the DK, or not DK, the watered down version to of Roba on or no, to Luffy's is Gummy no Mi one, or the Joy Boys Del Fruit thing. And yeah. So yeah. He's always so man, it's also he also has the thing here called elemental manipulation. So yeah. So yeah, I'm not gonna go over the Quirk Doctors because the Quirk Doctor tells Inko and Sashi they both, or the kids, have their own quirks. Zuko has 2 quirks, and Zumi only has 1 quirk. And the Zumi or Inko asks, "What is the 2 quirks that my son has?" Well, he has elemental manipulation. He can do the same thing as like the fire manipulation does, but with every element you could think of. And all the fun things where yeah. So yeah, and then the number 2 will be the Luffy's is gum fruit, so it makes him all rubber. So yeah. So because Zuko's genetics, also I forgot to mention, in Zuko's genetics, he's that type of species, the not a human type, the more like the of those monster types. So he may look like a human child, but when he gets older, he becomes this more monstrous appearance. And yeah, in this alternate timeline, when Zuko told Bakugo what quirk that he has, or quirks, there are two different quirks. Bakugo is like, I'm happy for you, man. High five. And yeah, he doesn't call Zuko the deku, but Zuko is a cool kids rule. Sorry. The so yeah, basically Zuko may look like he is. Hold on. He may look like that. I'm just repeating myself, but he's really that. He's a monster ruler. Yeah. And so and so time progressed like into 15. Like time skipped to 15. He sees, or during all that time, he goes to school, and Bakugo and his friends were about to rob up the candy shop. Yeah. Or sneak into the, not bar, but the, yeah, bar door. And Zuko doesn't want to, because he's a good kid, as he walks away. And so the Bakugo says, okay, see you at school. Okay? And so then they do it. So, and he tried to convince Bakugo to not do that stuff, but he did it anyway. Not Zuko, but Bakugo did. As the explosion and then the flame, yeah. That was only at age of 13, actually. Yeah. They tried to sneak into a bar and stealing the alcohol and the money from the bar. Okay? Don't steal from anywhere. So then Zuko was able to, and so he could not help Bakugo, so he, as his sister, as he kind of, he did told them, like, of course the policeman, or actually a principal, forbids or like bans Bakugo and his group. But Zuko, or actually principal, because Zuko told the principal about it, and Zuko, or it got praised by everybody because he knew that Bakugo, or he tried to stop Bakugo, and of course, Bakugo's mom in this alternate timeline was upset at Bakugo, not at Zuko, at Bakugo, for trying to steal alcohol from the stores. So yeah. So he ends up got put in prison, so with his group gang thing. And Zuko walks around freely. And Bakugo in the prison, he knew, or actually before he went to prison, he told Zuko that I know it was you and I don't have a grudge against you, Zuko. You told me, or you told us not to, but we didn't listen to you, so. Okay? So, it was kind of our fault. So, yeah. So, Bakugo was in prison for rest of his life. Yeah. So, yeah. So, the principal tells Zuko that you don't need to blame yourself, and I know that you tried your hardest. And plus, so did Bakugo's mom, tells him the same thing. He gets more praised by everyone, and they needed to, like, yeah. So then now they back to 15. So Zuko, yeah, Inko and Sashi, and tell Zuko and or Zumi that the Zuko was the monster that's under the wing. So he decides he wants to be a pro hero. So he does. Does go to UA. And yeah, then all of that and stuff goes on, and basically Zuko tried his hardest, and of course when he was walking to UA, he got stopped by the little miss, yeah, her. And yeah, so she ends up like, it's been like a long time since after Bakugo Ho's thing, but I really want to go ask you out on a date, if it's okay with you. And he says, sure. And so they both were dating through the entire high school. And Zuko is kind of embarrassed because of, like, he's dating her. And yeah. So, and Zumi got one for all. I forgot to mention. And so Zumi told Zuko, and then of course Zuko did not know that she had one for all, because they don't keep secrets from each other, because that's their because it's brother to brother, or no, brother to sister kind. It's between the siblings of, like, so she told him all about it. As Zuko looks at her and starts smiling. You're really catching up to whom on quirks, aren't you? And Zumi says, yeah. But, or of course, Zuko says, I'm proud of you. The, if this so-called all-for-one comes, um, yeah. So, of course, he leaves, or he goes to hang out with his girlfriend. And, but there's a one thing. She's also a same thing as what Zuko is. She's a monster disguised as a human, or was born as a human, but she's really a monster in the disguise, and she's the same age as him. So, yeah. So then, because they both could grow to, like, larger than monsters, yeah. Because in this what if, there's a company that Inko opened, like she's the boss of it, was, yeah. And so Zuko, or somehow the boss, when the monster that they were experimenting on randomly exploded and infected the boss, us, and it infused it into the to yeah. So, and that's how, oh, they keep that a secret from Zuko. And so then after the quirk test thing, and I'm skipping the ball throw, heroes versus villains, but at the USJ thing, it goes completely different. Instead of having, like, villains ambush, or actually villains did attack, but the Zumi was with Frog Girl and that grapefruit kid, and she does the same thing what Zuko from Canon did. Tried to punch Hiraki Sin before her, and yeah. So then but after the whole thing, a monster hand came out of the ground, grabs Zuko, dragged him down, um, um, into the monster nest. Yeah. But they basically kidnapped him. And so Zuko's was trying to resist, but the one of the monsters had a hypnotize or like brain manipulation thing. So basically, it changed Zuko's memories into a monster king and brainwashing him to become a monster king. They just need a monster queen and to have it like, yeah. So basically, they knew which one their their next target would be. Her, when she was walking home after the USJ thing, she got abducted too. Oh, so yeah. So then basically Zuko and she got the same treatment. But now she's a monster princess, or no, monster queen. Queen of the monsters, king of the monsters. And the monsters weren't so active. Pro heroes and villains knew about that. They noticed that the monsters aren't really attacking the king. So what does they do? They go down to the nest. Or yeah, they sent the small group of them, and yeah, because Zuko was got his entire body. So both of them were got transformed into a female. Or no, Zuko's is because he was a monster king. He became a creature with unimaginable strength, power, everything. Hers was, yeah. And so Zuko and her were just laying in the, or sitting on a throne, listening to reports and the, yeah. So the pro heroes looked and saw they had a king and a queen. As they don't know why that, because they are also, I forgot to mention, both Zuko and his girlfriend became the immortal, like evil version, but immortal versions. So, yeah. So they commanded the armies to wipe out almost all the population so that they can build a house or build a like a kingdom for all the monsters to live in. It's like Hotel Transylvania, but more like a castle of dark illusions thing. So, yeah. So the villains knew about they were, or the monsters aren't that active. So what do what does all for one do? He goes down there, and the king of the monsters says, "You must be all for one, aren't you?" Hmm. Now, why are you here? It's me. Yeah. So the Monster King tells All for One that, and All for One says, "Well, I'll make a proposal to have your army join me Hun army to wipe out the entire population." As the queen was doing or actually the king knew that if he had to wipe out the entire population, he has to start with someone that's more valuable thing. So he says, I may deny that part, but you will not be leaving here alive. As Zuko uses his full power on him to wipe him out of existence. That was no longer all for one. So now he says, monsters, it is time for us to rise and wipe out the human population. And because if we exceeds, then we'll make a name for ourselves on our own planet. Kill everyone that you see before you. As most of the rabbits that are bigger than a city things, like the entire army, and that's supposed to be like all for one. And yeah, all for one was killed, even got wiped out, and they became more monstrous as he released everything. He even killed everyone. He killed every or he sent bunnies. He killed or no, his monsters killed every human like nom nom nom. Yeah. They slaughtered them all. One by one, two by two, three by threes. They weren't hurt no more. Yeah. They were they all were slaughtered. The entire world's population was killed in an instant. It murdered everyone. And yeah, yeah. They even ate Ochako, Momo, Mina, Earphone Jack, Bakugo. Everyone was wiped out from existence as they slaughtered everything. Yeah, they slaughtered the entire human population nation. Yeah. You want it dark, don't you? So the only as Zuko and his girlfriend that became his like wife slash queen in were like, yes, yes, eat up, children, eat them all up. Uh, everyone must die except for those toddlers. As a monster kept the toddlers alive. And they brought, or all of the monsters brought them the little toddler kids. Because he has a soft spot. As the queen did notice that he's bringing those kids in, as she asked, why do you bring those kids? Well, to teach them how to become the enforcers. See, and they reproduce when they get older and more wiser. As then will kill off the population again and again, recycle through generation after generation. You know what I mean. As Princess says, yeah. And of course, All Might got ate to death. Zumi got ate to death. No one could even stop them. Yeah. The only person that they did not eaten was her. Yeah. So basically, yeah. And the one that suggested this what if thing, no, I forgot his name. Here. That guy, that suggested this one. Well, I made this super dark. So, yeah. So, everyone every human, on planet Earth, was all wiped out. There would be one or two. Oh, but the monsters use their bodies as playthings. I'll just say that. The monsters use them. The only two people that I am saying is one was Bunny Girl. The other was her. And you don't want to know what they did to their bodies. Knees. Yeah. It's scary. If I have to say it, it will have to be 18 plus. Yeah. And I don't want that. So, but I'll put it in the description of, I'll just say 18 plus on, okay? Yeah. The monsters that in this would have killed the entire population except for because Zuko and his wife, actually, or it used to be girlfriend, but now they became wife, even like father. So the so she ends up asking Zuko if it's okay to have a kid. So Zuko says, "Yeah, it's okay." Oh, so then what do? They do the same thing what the monsters are doing to her and the bunny girl. Oh, yeah. They basically, yeah. It was, yeah. And over years, um, they could see, or like, I don't want to have a picture of what she would look like as a pregnant one. Her belly was like bigger than her entire body. Like, yeah. It's like her arm was strapped to her stomach. Like, fully stretched out. Yeah. Uh, so does Bunny Girl, this girl, the bunny hero. Oh, oh, because yeah, that's that's why you know how like you put your arm out straight out like towards the side. Yeah, imagine having that length of arm stretch onto your stomach if you were in her like that girl's. Yeah. So yeah, and then she gets, or the queen got the least. So it was a normal sized stomach. Yeah. And then they all gave birth to monsters, mutant humans, and yeah. And they did teach the kids, or like toddlers that are 4 years, 8 years, or no, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, was to be like teach them kindness and all that stuff. Yeah. Then when they reached 18, they got married to each other. And yeah. And they reproduce and then they reproduce again and again. Yeah. So yeah. And the kids, or I forgot to mention, the the people's remains, like their skin, was hung up in like fancy stores that monsters can go into and shop around. Like, imagine a life size doll version of Mina, like, was on the display. Yeah, for the monsters, it kind of looks like the action figure, like Barbie toy. Yeah, like actually one of the monster kids, or like the monsters, chose Mina to, you don't want to know what he did. And so, yeah, he kind of did a little, like, peep on Mina, like how Grapefruit Kid and sometimes do. Well, the that monster also looked up her skirt, so yeah. If Mina was still alive, she would probably be so embarrassed. And but it's just her body is now on a display. And yeah, the it was, and plus they did it too because, and is this your answer for it? So basically, Zuko and his wife, Eve, are the only two people that are knew what happened before the monsters came to planet, or before the human population was wiped out by monsters. Yeah. So now, and plus, the different kid, or different monster kid, should I say, did the same thing to, you know, Ochako. Oh, yeah. And Ochako, if, because all of them were, like, their bodies, or so they all were killed off. And yeah, it was like paradise for the monsters to enjoy. The, yeah, they put displays and all that stuff. For, imagine if we were living in the parallel universe where all of our bodies were mannequin dolls on a display case with, like, monsters grabs us and, like, looks up, or like, it would be like, it would be like the Barbie toy things or action figures. Yeah. So, and actually, one of the Zuku's daughters was actually born as a same thing as what Zuko was and his wife. So, yeah, most of them do. But monsters know that the, yeah. So it was terrifying. I mean, to say the least. So Zuko and his girlfriend or wife were just laying in bed, and He's just thinking about what was the life before the us monsters came. As yeah. So the queen in was like, it doesn't matter to us anymore. And so then she says, or she wants to make out with. Yeah. So, yeah. Then the all the uh like all the monsters that like were just like eating humans or other like anything like deer, elk, bears, anything that they could get their hands on because they have a ruler and a queen and they can or so both king and queen can never age and can never die. So they're so basically he commands the entire armies, not just one, the entire armies of the monsters that look like yeah. So when he gets yeah, so they go to outer space to look for fresh meat. And so they did. They scavenged the planet after planet in it for millennia. And then they came back to. Yeah. So it was terrifying. Yeah, it was. So the. Yeah, so this is the goodbyes and catch you guys and girls later. But before we go, I may say thank you to that guy right there, the one that recommended this video. Oh, okay. Because yeah, when I talked to that person, like on that comment, the I try to make this balance, but in the end, it's way more terrifying. Yeah. Basically, everyone dies except for Zuko and his girlfriend, and the and that's only a ship thing. That's the only ship that I will do. One, because ever make it more interesting. So, yeah. And plus, everyone else is dead except for Zuko and her anyway, so why the heck not? And plus, when after I said the that about display thing, like human remains or like not skeletons but full bodies, onions, like they're basically they got injected into like to keep their skin young, like same. It doesn't age, doesn't like because they're dead, so they, yeah, it's, that's one way of torturing a dead body. So, yeah. Mountain Lady got it the worst. 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 Of the doll parts. Yeah. I don't want to say it, but it's just, I'll just say, so, bye.